what I want to do is I want to go over the first 5 problems on page 415 with you about modeling how to subtract mixed numbers. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get started with number 1. Again, I'm on page 415. I'm going to do 1 through 4 as examples. And then remember that today you're supposed to do problem 6 through 15. And then you're supposed to put in the answers on the form for today's Google Math assignment. So again, I'll repeat that again. Today you have to do problems 6 through 15, page 415 in your book, math book, and then put in the answers on the form and submit it, okay? So this video is just to hopefully help you to do one of those assignments, okay? So I'm gonna start with number 1. You got 4 and 2/3 minus 2 and 1/3. The first thing you wanna do is, obviously, all of these mixed numbers and fractions that are part of those mixed numbers must have the same denominator. So you don't have to worry about that, right? All of them do have the same denominator, which means that you can subtract the numerator, the number at the top. Easy stuff. Now, the only thing you have to be careful with, just like the Math Antics video showed you, is that be careful. Example, look at the numerator right here, right? 2 minus 1 is a piece of cake. You can subtract. That's not a problem there. But look at number 3. Number 3 says subtract 3 minus 5. So first thing you want to make sure that you do is you pay attention to those numerators, right? Because as you can tell, there's no way you can subtract 5 from 3. There's something special we have to do for those type of problems. But for those problems that have the first numerator and you can subtract the second numerator from that, that's a piece of cake, no big deal. So this one's easy. So let me go ahead. So you want to subtract the whole numbers first. 4 minus 2, which is 2, and then your numerator is 2 minus 1 is 1, and then of course you keep the denominator same, which is 3, and there's your answer for the first one, right? Not that hard. That one's actually kind of easy. Let's go to jump to number 2. Make it a little bit bigger so I can have enough space there. And this one, again, look at the numerators. This one's special again. Look, check that out. Can you subtract 3 from 1? No. So when you have these types of problems, you have to convert those mixed numbers into improper fractions. And how do you do that? Well, remember, you multiply your numerator times your whole number, and then you add your numerator. So what's 4 times 4? 16. Plus 1? 17. So your 17 is a new numerator, and your denominator, you keep it the same, which is 4. Now I'm going to do the same thing for this mixed number. I'm going to change it into an improper fraction. Again, remember, multiply 4 times 3 and then add 3. So what's 4 times 3? 12. Plus 3? 15. So that's 15, and keep the same denominator. All right. Now you can subtract. Notice that you have the same denominator also, and that it's a lot easier to subtract now the numerators. Now you see that? So what's 17 minus 15? Well, that's 2 over 4. Now you have to simplify that because remember, anytime you get a fraction in which the numerator is half of the denominator, it's going to be equal to 1/2. And if you want to show that as a model, then you can draw 2 circles right at the top that are congruent, right? Break this one into 4 parts and shade in 2. Same thing over here. You want to break this circle into 2 parts and then shade in 1. You see, these 2 shaded areas are equal or equivalent. That's why 2/4 is equal to 1/2 or equivalent to 1/2. Moving on. Number 3. So on number 3, we've got the same thing again. Notice here, you got 3, and you can't subtract 5 from 3, right? Even though the denominators are the same, you can't subtract 5 from 3. So you have to change this mixed number into an improper fraction. So how do you do it? Multiply 6 times 5 and then add 3. It's like saying this. 5 times 6 equals 30. And then that 30, you're going to add the numerator 3, which is 33. And that's your new numerator for the improper fraction. Okay? So again, going to, it's 6 times 5. And then you add 3, which is 33. That's your new numerator over the same denominator, which is 6. Minus, convert this into a mixed number. 6 times 2 plus 5. Well, what's 6 times 2? 12 plus 5 is 17. over the same denominator, 6. Then, of course, you simply just subtract. 33 minus 17 equals. All right, let's see. That is, for those of us that can't do it in our heads, let's just put it over here. And then you borrow 7 minus 3. You can borrow from the 3. 3 turns into a 2, and the 3 into a 13. 13 minus 7 is 6, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So your numerator is 16 over 6. Now you can't leave it like that, because that's what we call improper fraction. Remember, the numerator cannot be equal to or greater than the denominator. So how do we solve this? How do we fix this? Easy. Just what we did before, right? You get 16 and you divide it by 6, your denominator. How many groups of 6 can I make with 16? Only 2. 2 times 6 is 12. Find the difference and you go 4. That's your new numerator, and your denominator is your divisor, 6. Okay, so according to that, your answer is 2 and 4, 6, right? But here's the problem with that again, is that this is when we were talking about simplifying fractions, is that 4 and 6 are even numbers. So you're going to have to simplify them. And we find that the greatest common factor of 4 and 6 is actually 2. Whatever you do to your numerator, you do to your denominator. So you keep your whole number, 2. And then what's 4 divided by 2? 2. And 6 divided by 2? 3. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So there they are. Now, how do I know that I don't have to simplify anymore? Because 2 is prime and 3 is prime. They have no common factor, right? Because they're prime numbers. So your answer for number 3 is 2 and 2/3. All right. So again, change both numbers into mixed numbers. Then you can subtract. This is an improper fraction. You can't leave it like that. So you divide 16 by 6. You get 2 and 4/6. You can't leave 4/6 like that because those are even numbers. You gotta simplify them by using the greatest common factor, which is 2. And then, of course, that gives you your final answer, 2 and 2/3. All right. Let's go on to number 4. Now, on number 4, move this up here. You got the same situation again. You can't subtract 4 from 2. So what do you have to do? Yep, you got to change it into an improper fraction, right? By multiplying 5 times 5 and then adding 2. Same thing over here. You got to multiply 5 times 3 and then add 4. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 2 is 27. Over what? The same denominator, right? 5. You're going to find the difference. Let's try the improper fraction for the second mixed number. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 4 more is 19. Find the difference and you get 5. Okay, let's subtract. We don't know how to do it there. Just put them up to the side. 27 minus 19. Can't subtract 9 from 7. You can borrow from the 2. 2 turns into a 1. And that's 7 into a 17. 17 minus 9 is 8. So therefore your number at the top is 8 over 5. The denominator does not change. Can you leave it like that? No, you can't. It's an improper fraction. Again, the numerator cannot be equal to the denominator or greater than the denominator. And 8 is greater than 5, so that's a no-no. So how do we fix that problem? Well, we gotta change it into a mixed number by dividing 8 by 5. Or in other words, dividing the numerator by the denominator. How many groups of 5 can I make with 8? Only 1. 1 times 5, 5. Find the difference from 8 and you get 3. That will be your new numerator, your remainder, and your denominator is your divisor, 5. So, right now, what we just did is we're saying that 8/5 is the same thing as 1 3/5. The lesson that you were supposed to do at the beginning of this week, changing improper fractions to mixed numbers. Now, the last thing, do we simplify these? Well, the answer is no, because 3 is a prime number and 5 is a prime number. They do not have a common factor. So your answer is right there, 1 3/5. All right, so hopefully this will help. Remind you one more time, you are to do page 415, 6 through 15. They are for grade. Use the form under Google Classroom Math for today and turn it in for grade. If you need extra help, just let me know, send me a message. I will not give you the answer, but I'll try and help you as much as I can with the problems. But most of them are like that. Be careful again. Look at the numerators, right? Can you subtract the second numerator from the first numerator? If you can't, you got to change them into mixed numbers. And your answer, just check if you need to simplify, right? And for those of you that actually do look at your videos here, thank you so much. In your answer sheet, you'll see that it says, let's say, for example, that the answer is 1 3/5. On the sheet, it'll say something like this, mira, 3/5, like that. That is the same thing as 1 3/5, like this. Okay? All right, guys. Have a great day.